So, this is not typical of me. Whenever I, go see a review, or whenever I see a movie that I'm going to review, I usually post that review immediately when I see it. But, as you can see, I'm traveling. I've got a lot of stuff, going on. Um, and I was not able to post a reaction and review for this immediately after, which I apologize for, but it is coming out now before the weekend is over so that you guys have my thoughts on this film. And boy, what a film this was. I'm Daniel Strunk. Welcome to QuickTime Reactions, and welcome to my review of F1. This is I would say, the highly anticipated film from the director that did Top Gun Maverick, of course, Joseph Kosinski. This movie stars Brad Pitt, Carrie Condon, Damson Idris, Javier Bardem, Tobias Menzies, Sean Wingham, Kim Bodnia. I hope I'm saying his last name right. And appearances from all your favorite F1 stars like, Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen, name drops from like, Charles Leclerc and Lando Norris, all of them are there. And it tells the story of a former F1 driver, Sonny Hayes, who is brought back into the world of F1 when his former friend and teammate Ruben buys into an F1 team, Apex GP, and they have a rookie driver who is, very cocky and, very arrogant about himself, Joshua Pierce, and, pairing this young guy with this grizzled vet of motorsports world, trying to save the team from, going into, another sale. With only 9 races left in the season, they have to pull off a win to, save the team from not being sold. Will they be able to win a race in that time frame? We'll see. So, a bit of my background on F1. I know almost all of my information about F1 comes from this amazing YouTube channel, Josh Revel. If you guys have not checked out any of his content, I highly recommend that you do, because he is such a well-informed, I believe he is from New Zealand, he's a New Zealander. He's a very well-informed New Zealander about not only who is competing in F1, but, follows throughout the season and follows, the storylines and all that stuff, who's, battling for the championship, so on and so forth. And I definitely think you should check out his channel and all of his amazing content. So, F1 is, very different to what we have in the States, of course, NASCAR. There is a point system that, determines who is going to be champion. But, F1 is also a team sport. There's 2 cars per team. Like, Red Bull has 2 cars, Ferrari has 2 cars, Mercedes has 2 cars, McLaren has 2 cars. So it is a team sport. So not only do the drivers compete against each other, but the teams are competing against each other. The teams have their own championships. The race technicians, I believe, have their own championships, the people on the pit box. And then the pit crew have their own championships as well. So everything in F1 has a championship tied to it. They want to be the best that they can be, because Ruben's character is like, you win an F1, you can say for that moment you are the best ever. You can say you're the best in the world at driving these cars. And I just find the motorsport so fascinating, and I wish I could, be more invested into it, but I'm already so invested in, my wrestling stuff, Disney stuff, just all sorts of different hands and different honey jars. That if I, stick my feet into another one, it's just I think my brain will explode with having to keep track of every single bit of information that's going on. So, that's why I am not following Formula One. But this story, which it was the, if I remember correctly, story was done by Kosinski and Aaron Kruger, who both worked on Top Gun Maverick. Screenplay was done by Aaron Kruger, and then, of course, directed by Kosinski. I think they did a really good job of kind of pulling, I think, the right elements from Top Gun Maverick, because it's an older guy coming in to try and bolster a team that's on weak legs, and then you have the cocky younger guy who is going to learn a lesson or two from the what he calls in the press conference his elderly teammate. And in the first race, they are not working together. They're, in fact, Sonny is racing Pierce for position, which, in Formula One, if someone has more speed than you, you have to let them by so that they can compete with the rest of the field. Sonny, that doesn't see it that way. He's out there racing. So if you're going to pass him, you're going to pass him for real. Like, nobody's going to tell him, let go and, have someone pass him by. Slowly but surely, they start getting more and more, they get higher and higher into the field, mainly because Sonny and the main race technician, Kate, played by Carrie Condon, they start chatting about how they need to compete differently, not pass people in straights, but pass them in the turns, which is why they start making changes to the car. And it's just seeing everybody just start to like gel together, I think, is like the key to movies like this and Top Gun Maverick. It shows that they're starting to make a chemistry between them, and everything can just become second nature. The cast does an absolutely amazing job in portraying that. Brad Pitt as the straight-laced, no-nonsense, vet. Carrie Condon as the race technician that's trying to, balance both worlds of okay, I need to make this car legal while also trying to, be competitive out on the racetrack. Damson Idris does, I think, an amazing job of, at first being, the cocky, arrogant, swan, as they say in the movie, of, just being, this guy that's, going to walk to the beat of his own drum, but towards the tail end of the film, starts to become a team player. And Javier Bardem, I think, is just a magnetic presence every single time that he's on screen, and I think he does an amazing job in this movie as well. Cinematography in this is absolutely amazing. Kosinski, along with his, let me see who is the, cinematographer was. Claudio Miranda. I was hoping that there was a picture of him on the Wikipedia article, or him or her. They did an absolutely amazing job with the cinematography, having the different shots of front facing in the cockpit, outward facing, seeing out towards the track, what I'm calling the swivel cam, where it swivels back and forth between the front view and the back view, where we're actually seeing the driver in the car. That's an amazing shot, and also all of the drone footage as well in this. Absolutely amazing. The score done by the legendary Hans Zimmer for this movie, absolutely amazing. Blends right in to what you're seeing on the screen. You sometimes forget that the score is there, and towards the tail end of the film, I'm like, oh yeah, this is a really good score, kind of encapsulating the not only the emotion but also the tension that goes on during these races as well. But yeah, this is a spectacle to be sure. I saw this at an IMAX theater, and funny enough, when I went to go see Megan 2.0, there was a private screening at that theater for F1, and when I left the theater from seeing F1, the outside of the theater had Ferrari banners on it, and there was going to be a private event at that theater, and it was going to be I had seen a couple of people wearing Ferrari apparel, and so I was like, okay, there's a private event for Ferrari happening at the theater that I was at, which I thought was pretty cool. But yeah, that is pretty much it for my review of F1. Really good performances from everybody in the cast. Really good cinematography. A story that is similar to what we have seen in the past with Top Gun Maverick, but I think fits in really well with this movie, and a score from Hans Zimmer that really encapsulates, ties everything up in a nice, really good bow. This may be contention for a couple of Oscars. I would say cinematography, maybe even sound design as well. We'll just have to wait and see, how things shake up once the year is over, and we'll have to wait a little while later to see who's nominated. But I think this has pretty good chance of getting nominated for some awards. But yeah, that is pretty much it for my review of F1. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked my review, maybe hit that subscribe button. That's like maybe right there. And also check out all the other reviews that I have on my channel. But that is it for now. Be safe out there. And remember, listen to your teammates, because they might know better than you and can help you out. That's all I'm going to say. And I will see you guys next time.